Hi everyone, welcome back to DIY Like a Pro. And today we're talking about kittens. Welcome back, and today I figured, gosh, my shop is so dirty and I really need to clean it. But I was also thinking, what do you guys want to hear about today? And I was thinking tools. Yeah, you know, it's been a while since we talked about tools, and recently, unfortunately, I've been back on the tools again. So I figured, why not talk to you about some of the tools I use on a regular basis, the cool tools, the tools that I like and that make my life so much easier. So today we have tools. So my favorite and probably most expensive tool that's a hand tool, these are all hand tools today, would be my Stiletto. Titanium hammer. This one is 15 ounces. There's not a lot I can tell you about this hammer other than I love the hammer itself. Nice and light, swings like a 28-ounce hammer. It's got an interchangeable face on it, so you can actually change it if you frame a lot or if you just damage the head. It's great. It's got a nail puller on the side. It's got a magnet on the top, so you can actually set nails if you are framing. And I really love the pitch of the claw itself. Trying to get a nail with this hammer is so much easier than a hammer that has the claw like up here, where you have to completely bend the hammer down, and then it gives you a lot less leverage. So this is my Stiletto. I really love it. Next we have the Mitre Gauge. And what this does is it actually gives you, this one here is, as you can see, is digital, and this one tells you what angle it is. You know, if you're using a piece of, you know, if you're doing trim that leads onto the stairs or something, or if you're trying to get your wainscoting right, or even just baseboard, this is a great tool. I really like this one. I usually use one that isn't digital. That works really well if you don't need to know the precise angle for the saw. Or if you want to transfer it, but this one works really well just to kind of see what the number is and then go over to the saw without bringing the gauge with you. Next we have really cool pliers. These are actually for doing quarter round or any small trim work. I love these if I'm doing just a small quarter round job and I don't want to set up a saw or anything like that. It's got all kinds of different angles on here that are very common angles. And so all you do, I'll try to do this upside down, all you do is line it up with the base or with whatever the angle is that you're trying to achieve, and I'll try not to cut my nose off while I'm doing this. And then you just squeeze the pliers, and then you've got your angle. These definitely make my life easier, and if you're using a lot of dowels and you're using it to cut dowels, you can actually change this tooth here to accept dowels or anything, different shapes. Now we've got the Mitre Aid. So let's say that you've got a mitered piece of wood. We're just going to clamp that in, and let's say if this was a piece of casing or something, it would be a little bit bigger. I always have a problem trying to keep my tape right on the edge. I mean, there's nowhere for it to actually stay. I mean, if you're catching a, you know, an edge or something, that's one thing. This actually allows you, show you that so you can see it, to actually get your measuring tape in there for the full length of the piece of wood, whatever it is, so that you can clamp that on one side, and if it's 20 feet or whatever it is, as long as your measuring tape will go, it actually will keep your measuring tape in the right place while you mark the other side of it. I love this. It's not something I use every day, but definitely when the opportunity arises, I always use this because it just makes it easier than having someone else stand on the other side or having to you know, adjust my saw or adjust my stand so I can actually catch the tape on the edge so that I can get an accurate reading. And then nothing's worse than you go to put the piece in and it doesn't fit for whatever reason, and you're not sure if you measured wrong or if your tape moved. So sometimes there's a big bow in your piece of wood or something like that, and you don't know. This, you know for sure that the tape didn't move, and if nothing else, you'll get a better cut every time. Now you've got the speed square. I really am a big fan of the speed square. This one specifically is by DeWalt. And I like the fact that obviously speed square is great for just marking your wood and telling you where you want your stud. The other great thing that I like about this one here is that it has these little impressions here where you can actually slide your pencil in and it'll give you the line. So this makes it really good if you are doing some small framing or if you want to draw multiple lines on there, as well as it also has a preset for a stud. So if you are drawing on, let's say a 2x6 that isn't an actual stud width, and you want to draw where is, if you're doing blocking or anything like that, then it's really great for that as well. And it has all your basic speed square, angles on it as well. And if you are using it for framing, then you've got your framing cuts on there as well. Next, we have, these are pinchers for trim. What I really like about these is you can get them from Lee Valley. I think you can get them from some other tool stores if you don't have Lee Valley's where you are. I'm not sure if it's Canadian based or not, but I really like these. I've seen them a lot of different places and I managed to find them at Lee Valley. All my stuff is rusty, as you can see, but these are great if you're gluing two boards together, let's say two pieces of trim. Now if these were smaller, then they'd be really hard to glue together. So what you would do is just use these to pinch it together, and then you can just line this up and then shoot it with a nail. And then I don't have to have my fingers close, so I'm not shooting my finger. I've actually done that in the past where I was holding a piece of trim and I thought I was far enough away and the nail came out in a weird angle and actually went straight through my finger. So this works really well. I usually have a whack of these on me if I'm doing a big piece of trim, or if you've got a nice bow or something in your trim and you don't want to plane it or anything else, or maybe it's MDF, then this works really well. You can also do a glue up and just leave it like this, and it doesn't leave any anything bigger than a brad nail in your board. So it's really small, so it's really easy to either sand out or fill after you're finished. So the pinchers really work well. This is another really cool tool that I like. This is by Rigid, and this is actually a couple wrenches in one. I've got two of these because I temporarily lost one of them and now I have two. But this comes as one piece and it's great for doing plumbing work if you're using hoses or different size nuts and stuff like that while you're doing your plumbing for your basic supply lines and stuff like that. This works great, as well as if you're doing a junction in your supply lines, tightening the pipes together works out really well. And I like the fact that if you do need some extra size on it, or if you're really cranking on something just like a regular wrench, then you can obviously get a little bit more size on it as well by twisting it together. This is something I came upon just in my regular shopping. I'm a tool collector, or a guy who is a shopaholic, but this is actually a chisel, and I really like this because this is the only chisel that isn't going to make a hole in your pocket. So if I want to throw this in my pocket, there's nothing sharp, and now I can just throw it in my pocket and away you go. So for people that are tired of working with a chisel in their pouch or wherever, and because of the size, maybe it falls out of your pouch and then puts a nice impression in the floor, or or you're tired of just making holes in your jeans or in your tool pouch, this works really great. This is actually by Pocket Chisel, and they make a couple different sizes of this. It's also great because you don't have to, I always lose the covers for my chisels. As you can see, this one's been probably in a bucket or something that I was using on site that was probably in the back of my truck, got a little bit rusty, still need to clean it off a little bit, but this, you don't have to worry so much as well about throwing your chisel in your bucket or in your toolbox, because it won't get damaged on the tip because it is protected. We've got just a basic drywall rasp. Except this one's cooler because you can actually throw it underneath the drywall when you're doing your drywall and pry it up. So if you drywall properly, you'll drywall from the ceiling and then work your way down the wall, leaving a gap at the bottom. So you can never really lift it from the bottom, and some guys will put a pry bar or something underneath it. This works really well because you can just slip it underneath, and then as you're ready to screw it in, you just step on this and lift it up. As well as when you're cutting, you can use the rasp here to just kind of even out your edge if you've got a little bit of an uneven cut, or if you got it playing a little bit off. And when you're finished, I mean, you can open your beer with it. So I like that too. Hey, why not? I have recently found a lot of tools that have beer openers on them. I'm not sure if they're trying to say something, but in any case, always good to have. These are by alineset.com, and what these are is these are for lining up stuff. So if you're, let's say, trying to line up your ceiling or line up your bulkhead, or you know, anything for a string line essentially. So what you do is it's got two holes here for nails. It's got a base that you can either pry on, or just gives you a little bit of extra size here. So if it's against a bulkhead or anything, you've got some decent size to get a good measurement if you've got a bow in the wall or whatever. And then in the middle, it'll actually catch your string. So I'll just show you how this works. So I'm not going to secure these too well, just well enough to show you. But essentially, you want to grab your pink cool string. You know, all cool people use pink. These should really be 2 nails, but I don't want 2 nail holes in my table. I've already got enough nail holes in my table. Okay, maybe I should use 2 nails. BRB. So when you got 2 nails in your table, this works a lot better. And so what you do is you just wrap your string. You can wrap it as many times as you like. And instead of having to wrap it some fancy way in order to get the string to stop, you just pull it tight, and then you can just put it in the middle, and it catches it, and nice and tight. So if you wanted to find out if you've got the same distance underneath 2 points, you know you've got the same distance here. But if you want to take some other points, if you've got a bow in your wall or whatever, then this allows you to see that bow, versus if this was for instance down here, it might be resting against the wall and you might not actually get an accurate reading. Well guys, I hope you enjoyed our video. These were definitely some of my favorite. They might not be the coolest tools for everyone. We do have others coming in the future. We'll be doing a lot of these, but definitely these are some of my favorite tools that I use on a regular basis. If you have your own cool tool that you like to use, feel free to comment below. Let me know, what is it? Maybe it's something I haven't seen yet. Maybe it's something I can't get and I have to eBay it or Amazon it or something like that. I'd love to find out and see if it's something that I can use for myself. Don't forget to like, share, and comment if you want to comment, and subscribe. We'll see you next time on DIY Pro.